Y'all already know we're bringing it back with another Allied Rivals podcast. Hope y'all are ready for it. We're going to be talking about the NFL Week 1 recap today. It's been a minute, but we're back and we're having fun. Let's get into it. What's up, everybody? Y'all already know we're back with another episode in the one and only Allied Rivals podcast. My name is AJ Herschel, also known as The Kid, and I'm already joined with my co-host, Cademan Bauer. Here to talk about the NFL Week 1 recap today. It started off, Cademan, how you doing, man?
Pretty good. You know, school's been kind of like getting harder as it goes, but I mean, it's just more studying, more homework. Most of it's still pretty straightforward. The cool thing is we're starting to get on more pads for football.
Nice.
And practice jerseys and stuff. So
cool.
It's starting.
Cool. How long is it before your season starts?
I don't know exactly how long, but sometime in February is our first game.
Wow. Okay. All right.
Yeah. So I mean, we have basketball in between, and so it's going to be interesting.
Nice. Very nice. Good. Same thing. School's picking up for me as well. I presented a 66 slide presentation last week, which is probably the only school presentation that had a musical number and an epilepsy warning. So that was one of my most fun projects that I've ever given. But yeah, and also just feeling good podcasting and stuff like that. And also I won our fantasy football matchup this week.
You did.
Let's go.
Well done.
I thank you. Bet you're wishing you had Devontae.
Yeah.
That was fun game one. But we are here to talk about NFL Week 1 on the topic of NFL. We'll also hopefully post another episode today about our predictions for Week 2 and our thoughts on some of those. We're going to highlight 4 games today, and then just one big thing that we didn't get to talk about. Also, for the record, we've started a new series that we haven't done. We've done one episode so far called Allied Rivals Shorts. Cademan is our host for those. Cademan, you want to give a quick bit for it?
Yeah, so basically they're like 5-minute videos, 5 to 6. I think our last one was 6 flat. We'll do one every 2 weeks. Maybe we'll do some 1 week in a row. I don't know, just whenever we feel like it. They'll be just fun what-if questions. And me and AJ will both have about 2-minute timer to answer them. And they'll be fun, short videos, so please tune in.
Yeah, and our last one was about what sports moment in history would you like to see? And, of course, I'm not allowed to say what they were. You're going to have to go check out the episode yourself because it's really good. Plus, be sure to comment below what kind of questions and things that you want us to talk about and what other things you want us to cover. But now it's finally time to get back into the NFL. And, Cademan, what game do you want to start with? We've got 4 in the lineup today. What do you want to start with?
I think we should start with America's Game of the Week.
Oh, yeah. New Orleans Saints, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Saints overpowered the Bucs 34-23. So how about you give us your thoughts? Let's start with you and your thoughts on Tampa Bay. Tom Brady's first game as a Buc. Bruce Arians, his first game head coaching him. What did you think? How do you think they looked against New Orleans?
You know what? I mean, Tom Brady, 240 passing yards, running for a touchdown. Tom Brady was certainly looking at least different, shall we say. That was very different from most things we ever saw when he was on the Patriots. But he threw 80 yards to Chris Godwin. Scotty Miller got 73. So they were distributing the ball around. They had good ball movement until they got to the red zone. And that's when – I mean, you had some guys getting touchdowns still, of course. That's how they were on the scoreboard. But it wasn't what it should have been. Ronald Jones, the second, had the highest rushing yards in the game, only 66, which, I mean, if they were having a great receiving game, which they didn't, then the rushing game wouldn't look so bad. But since the offense together just wasn't gelled enough, I don't know. they were just having a lot of trouble, especially as the ball got farther down the field. They were getting it down the field, and then they couldn't get it into the end zone. So yeah, those are pretty much my thoughts on the Bucks.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just kind of seemed like a lopsided game for them because it looked like they were going to go and score, and then they didn't.
Yeah. It was and the Bucks were the recipient of some bad luck too. I mean, an interception on a freak miscommunication, a pick six, a blocked field goal. It was like everything that could have gone wrong, especially in the first half, did go wrong for Tampa.
Yeah, that's fair.
Mm-hmm. On the other side,
the same.
New Orleans, I thought they had a decent showing. I think their defense had a good showing for sure. They really locked down on the run. Rojo only 3.9 yards a carry. I thought their defense did pretty well, even though Brady spread the ball around a decent amount. They pretty much locked up on Tampa's offense for most of the game, and I was pretty impressed. Their offense looked okay. I mean, Thomas is out for 3 weeks I think 3 weeks with a high ankle sprain. So, I mean, that's a fluke incident. That's just rough. I think Drew Brees is definitely looking older. He threw 18 for 30. I mean, he still got 2 touchdowns. The Saints offense, at least statistically, wasn't that impressive. They were outgained, outtouched. In just normal statistics, Tampa had more first downs, more total yards. It was really the defense, I feel like, that gave New Orleans the win. They got the pick six. They put him in field goal range quite often. Kamara helped a lot, finished not only in the passing game, but also on the run. I think New Orleans looked okay. I think their defense is great, but their offense is going to need to step it up a little bit if they're going to want. And I mean, granted, Tampa Bay's defense is no slouch. But it was a decent game for New Orleans. I think they could definitely be better, but it was a decent start. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, obviously Michael Thomas being injured is gonna, and when he's your number one wide receiver and probably the number one wide receiver in the NFL right now, that's gonna affect your team in a bad way. And you could argue with me, they're like Julio Jones, Devontae Adams, and a bunch of other guys are still great. But I mean, when Drew Brees is only throwing like 150, 160 yards, that's not a good sign. The reason, I agree with you. The reason the Saints won is because of their defense. Because of the mistakes that the Bucks made.
Yep, totally agree. And even with Drew Brees, like he'll have games where he throws for 160 yards or whatever, but that typically means it was a Kamara game. But no, he rushed 12 for 16. And I mean, Latavius Murray, I love the guy. I love the guy. He's probably the best handcuff in the league. I've said that on Roto Hackers a bunch. Best handcuff in the league. But I mean, he even outgained Alvin Kamara. I mean, things didn't click as smooth as they normally did for New Orleans this year.
Yeah, I mean, but when Alvin Kamara was out on the field, the Bucks defense was in lockdown mode on the run. And I think until like really later in the second half, they didn't realize that Latavius Murray was the one that was taking the run game, and so then they had to lock down on him. So, I mean, the Buccaneers defense looked pretty good overall.
Yep. Also, I was really happy because I was 1 point off from predicting the score. I said 34-24, and I was like, oh, that close. Yeah. Also, it's our man, Lightning Bauer, in the chat again. First Allied Short was great. Thanks for checking it out. Let us know what other stuff you want us to talk about, and what were your thoughts on the first week of the NFL? Let's move on to the next game, which is the Superman Returns. And I wish I had made like a poster instead of Brandon Routh's face with Cam up there instead. But Cam Newton ran past the Dolphins 21-11 for probably the weirdest score in football history. Cademan, I know you were, especially a while when he was in Carolina, I know you were a Cam fan. So game one in New Orleans, what did you think of Cam Newton's first performance with Bill Belichick?
Okay, so his passing yards wasn't that great, like 155, I believe it was.
Yep.
His rushing abilities, we obviously saw that. and 2 rushing touchdowns. Bill Belichick really likes what he sees in Cam Newton. I mean, Julian Edelman, 155 isn't bad if you're playing a great rushing game and if the overall offensive line is doing well for you. But I mean, Julian Edelman had still a pretty bad game, like 60 yards. So, and I feel like it wasn't Cam's fault necessarily. I felt like he didn't have the wide receivers that could have made the game easier for the Patriots, which, I mean, it seemed like it wasn't too hard for them, but playing the Dolphins next week, you got to play better. But I mean, also for the defense, when you play Ryan Fitzpatrick, I mean, Bill Belichick's probably going to expect for his defense to have at least 1 interception. Yeah. But I don't think he expected 3.
Yeah.
So I mean, the defense popped off really, really good.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I agree with you pretty much there. I mean, Cam pretty much just beat him on the ground, and it was weird. The Patriots offense, it was like either they kind of stalled out really early or they just marched down and scored. I do think you're being a little bit hard on Edelman, though, because the Patriots were running 2 wide receiver sets and didn't start Edelman. They actually started N'Keal Harry and Ryan Izzo instead and only put in Edelman in the slot in 3 wide receiver sets. So I think it's less of his fault and more of just game script. Belichick just didn't put him in.
Well, I actually would disagree. I don't think it's Edelman's fault, but I think it's that they don't have the wide receivers so that when Edelman is out there, he's being double teamed. He's not going to catch the ball. Well, I mean, obviously will still, but linebackers are playing tight on him. You got a corner and a safety sometimes on him. Yeah. So he's getting overpowered by the defense, and that's not his fault. It's that the rest of the guys haven't proven themselves to be something the defense should be scared of.
True. I guess this means I get to talk about Miami, and
I guess so.
Wow. Well, as we all know, Miami always gets Miami because Miami every year, they just finish in 3rd or 4th place. And to do that, New England always every year graciously gives them hey, here's your 1 ticket to beat us once a year, every year, as long as you stink. And I don't know how long that card has been in play for like 4 years, but this was not the game. Ryan Fitzpatrick, we see 2 sides of him. We'll see one where he shows up in whack clothes after the game with the sunglasses and everything, and he'll throw for 4 touchdowns. This was not the game. This is the Mr. Hyde section of Ryan Fitzpatrick, who throws 3 interceptions. Dolphins had no answer for the Patriots. Even with all of them opting out, Belichick as a coach is one of the best defensive schemers in the league, and they were just locking up everywhere. Even the run game, Myles Gaskin had the most rush yards, which I completely did not see coming. Miami was just ineffective. They weren't able to do anything for most of the game. And of course, 3 interceptions. I thought their defense was also mediocre. Granted, Jerome Baker got 16 tackles, but I think the Dolphins are a mess. And I think we all knew it was going to happen one way or another. But all I'm saying is that this is going to make Miami fans really want to see Tua sooner and sooner.
That's
I don't know what else to say.
I don't think there is much more to say. I think you covered it pretty well.
All right. Well, moving on to the next one. I know you're pretty excited. Minnesota, just pack up and go home. Green Bay just destroyed you. Packers win 43-34. I know you want to talk about this. So just go ahead. Take it away, man.
Oh, man. Aaron Rodgers thrown for 364 yards. That was like, whoa. Like, I don't think anyone expected him to do that, but I did. Second year of an offense. What I've been telling AJ for so long. And AJ was wrong about, and I'm not being like putting down on AJ. AJ's a great guy, but he thought that Aaron Jones would be taking a lot of the glory, a lot of the Packers' glory. Like the ball would be going to him a lot. Well, the ball was distributed amazingly. Devontae Adams got 156 yards, and you had Marquez Valdes-Scantling getting close to 100. In total, Allen Lazard got above 80. The rushing game honestly didn't look like what it did last year. Maybe they just need a couple games to pick it up. I don't know. But, I mean, Aaron Jones only got he got less than 70 yards. But when Aaron Rodgers throws 4 touchdowns, does it really matter? I mean, Aaron Jones still did get a touchdown, but I think they're going to have to work on the running game a little more. Packers defense played pretty well overall, and the reason that they let up as many points as they did to the Vikings, I believe, is because Kenny Clark was injured. Before Kenny Clark was injured, their defense was solid. The running game was not doing amazing because Kenny Clark was up, making a ton of tackles, making it a little bit easier on the linebackers so that they could kind of sit back and relax a little bit, watch even some of the passing game. But as soon as he got injured, the linebackers have to step up, cover the run game, and then the middle of the field is more open for Adam Thielen. And that's really what happened when the game started to get sort of close. But, I mean, Packers took it. So, yay!
Yeah, I was wrong. Aaron Rodgers came out firing, and this kind of is a prove-it year for him, too. I mean, when they draft your replacement in the first round, you kind of got to show up. And, he showed up in a major way. Yeah,
AJ, if he does this like 1 or 2 more weeks in a row, you think he's going to be an MVP candidate? Or
I don't think you can judge contender, sure, but I don't really start considering MVP contenders till like after week 8, because that's when everything kind of shakes down. We figure out where teams are, especially when teams finally get past the easier part of their schedules or the harder part of their schedules, and you can kind of get a better judge. But yeah, if he plays like this for the first half of the year, then easily he's an MVP candidate for sure. Now to Minnesota. Brothers, what happened? Guys, where's your defense? And I know a lot of people hype up Minnesota's defense every year. Mike Zimmer is a smart coach. I mean, I don't want to deny that. His offense has been consistently good for the past couple of years. So has the defense, but they've consistently lost a lot of guys just kind of trickling out of that Minnesota defense over the past few years. And I think that was really starting to show. And the only reason why the score is as close as it is because the Vikings scored 24 points in the fourth quarter, i.e., the Packers sent in their backups. It was a mess offensively for Minnesota in general. And it wasn't even so much like the fact that the turnovers, Green Bay owned the ball for 2/3 of the game. They had it for 41 minutes. It was just an all-out rout. Minnesota has got to pick it up. And Thielen saved one of my fantasy days with 2 touchdowns. But guys, the game is only close because Green Bay sent in their backups. You were down 36-18 at one point in the fourth quarter. Minnesota's really got to pick it up because they were supposed to compete for a division crown this year. But if you're going to get walloped like this week 1, there are some changes that need to happen on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah, but Kyle Kendricks did great. You have to admit that. Mm-hmm. He was playing out of his mind defense compared to the rest of the team.
Very true. Very true. And Dalvin Cook rushed. Honestly, Cook and Madison also, to be fair, they had good rushing games. Madison averaged 8.3 yards a carry. Dalvin Cook punched in 2 touchdowns. So the two of them, they didn't have bad games. So maybe the Packers defensive line needs to step up. Like you said, Kenny Clark got injured, of course, though. But overall, it's just the ineffectiveness of the Vikings defense, and especially, guys, when it came, I know Devontae Adams is one of the hardest guys in the league to cover, but 14 catches, man. I'm sorry, Minnesota, but y'all need to pick it up. Y'all need to pick it up so much.
Go Pack.
I thought it was Go Pack Go. I thought there was a second one at the end of that.
There is, but
Okay. All right.
Hey, now to the final game we're going to talk about today.
Yep.
Lions versus Bears.
Yeah.
And AJ, I know you want to talk about the Bears and save the best for last. So Lions, so basically, the Lions, and this was AJ's words, they collapsed as they normally do.
Yeah. Yep.
Yes. Okay. So they were up 23-6 in starting the fourth quarter.
Yep.
Adrian Peterson had a good game, like 90.
Yeah. 93 yards rushing.
93. He knows it all. Stafford was spreading the ball around, but in the fourth quarter, things just collapsed. And when DeAndre Swift should have caught that, what would have been the game-winning touchdown, most likely.
Yeah, it was. There were 4 seconds on the clock. That would have been it.
There's nothing else I can say. It was just for the Lions. Their defense just basically, I think they may have gotten cocky starting.
You think?
I think maybe they did because you're up 23-6 starting the fourth quarter. I think that's when the Packers put their backups in.
Yeah.
I think that's maybe when the Lions started getting cocky. So, hey, go Bears. Starting off with a 1-0.
Thanks. Well, it's nice to hear you say that. I'm still trying to figure out how we won the game. We were terrible. I cannot state that enough. We were terrible through 3 quarters. And I don't know what it was. Maybe it was at the half. Maybe it, and I mean, if we had lost to the Lions for the first time in Nagy's coaching career, that would have been really depressing. But I think the win was a combination of Trubisky just lighting it up in the fourth quarter. I think he went 8 for 10 with 2 touchdowns, threw for over 100 yards in the fourth quarter alone. He came alive after an atrocious first half, threw for 3 touchdowns. The running game was okay. Montgomery was hobbled, of course. He had leg problems going into the game. And honestly, spreading the ball around, he didn't do bad by the end of the game. Robinson with 5 catches. Miller had 4. My guy, Javon Wims, caught a touchdown, which made me flip out because I've been on him ever since we drafted him. Yeah. So that made me so happy. So we pulled out a win, and fortunately, week 2 we get a home game against the Giants. So I'm like, look, we're not going to get put through the ringer. Unlike the Patriots, we have to go play Seattle next week. But the Bears, we get the Giants at home. A win is a win. We take those, and it hurt me as a Georgia fan to watch DeAndre Swift, the ball go right through his hands. That hurt. But as a Bears fan, that is the biggest sigh of relief that ever could have happened. We made it out by the skin of our teeth, but we have got, if we can play the way we did in the fourth quarter for a full 4 quarters, I'll feel a lot more comfortable at Trubisky under center.
Yeah, and I'm going to add one more thing. I think the Bears could have even had a bigger lead. Like, I think they could have been winning the whole game if they wouldn't be playing so conservative. I think they did play somewhat conservative throughout, especially the first half.
It was weird. It was all short slants and in and out. It was so weird.
He was trying not to throw interceptions. He was trying not to fumble the ball. They were being conservative. And I think Matt Nagy realized that being conservative against the Lions is going to work. So Mitchell Trubisky stepped it up. Yeah. And even though I don't like the Bears, I'd rather see the Bears in second place in the division than the Vikings.
Cool. Thank you for that. I will say, though, credit to Kyle Fuller and Jalen Johnson. I mean, Stafford forced that pass to MJJ in the last quarter. Good read on them to get that interception to get us in scoring position. Well, if you want to hear us talk about any more of them, please let us know what teams and things you're interested in us talking about. But it's our last thing we're going to wrap up here for this episode. So, Cayman, other than the 4 games we talked about, what is the one thing that really stood out to you during week 1?
Okay, so for me, it was Matt Ryan and the Falcons. Yeah. Matt Ryan putting off 450 passing yards. 157 went to Julio Jones. That was a yard more than Devontae Adams. So that was a little bit sad.
On 9 catches, too.
On 9 catches. So his average was way higher. I don't know how to explain Julio Jones. He was just a monster that game. Matt Ryan was distributing the ball well. It wasn't like Julio Jones was the only one catching balls. Calvin Ridley had 130 yards. Russell Gage had 115.
Even Russell Gage. Man. Even Russell Gage. Everybody.
That's crazy. Like, you hardly ever see three wide receivers get over 100 yards.
Mm-hmm. And they still lost.
So, that's the one thing that really stood out to me from week one. You know?
Nice.
How about you?
For me, I think it's the young quarterbacks who matured. First off, Mahomes and Colin Cowherd put this really well in his reactions to week one about how Mahomes as a gunslinger is scary. Mahomes as a smart quarterback who can run in the pocket, who can gunsling, is even better. And he put it really well in how he's saying him and Brett Favre were kind of comparable to how they could just throw the ball anywhere, however. But now he's getting patient in the pocket, and now he's getting comfortable. That's scary. And then on top of that, Lamar Jackson, the guy who people thought couldn't throw out of college, beat the Browns not with his legs, but with his arm.
Yeah,
he was incredibly accurate the whole game. That was probably the thing that impressed me the most. Just Lamar Jackson, 20 of 25 for 275 and 3 touchdowns. He only ran it 7 times. Lamar really impressed me right out of the gate game one. He evolved so much over the offseason. It was crazy. That's the thing that stood out to me the most.
Very cool. Very cool.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys so much for tuning in. We might be able to get in another episode, hopefully, about our week 2 predictions. We'll see. Be sure to check out, once again, our Allied Rivals shorts. Let us know what other topics and questions you'd like us to talk about. And let us know just in general what sports, teams, players you're interested in hearing us hear our opinions on. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Y'all already know we've been the one and only Allied Rivals podcast. But before we go, Cademan's got another Dwayne Wade card for us.
Yeah, it's been a while, and so I thought I'd pull another one out. Let's see if I can make it so that it's not too glared. Yeah, so when he was on the Bulls, 1 year,
yep,
and that was one of his cards.
Very, very nice. That was a fun year when he was there.
Was it fun? I don't know.
It was fun. It was fun having Dwayne Wade there more than the year was fun because, let me say this, we were still bad.
So Dwayne makes everything fun.
Yeah, Dwayne makes everything fun. You're right. And I think it was a 2-year deal, if I remember correctly. I think he was there for 2 years.
Could be wrong.
If I remember correctly. Or maybe he got traded to Cleveland mid-year. I can't remember. I can't remember. It was something
whatever.
Like
How about you, AJ? What you got?
Well, I already got mine ready. And for you and for Superman, it's Cam Newton, ladies and gentlemen. Got this couple years back. I think my mom got this one for me. Love the pose. I love my running quarterbacks. And man, this is Cam Newton. What else do I need to say? Superman has returned, ladies and gentlemen. And of course, I really appreciate it when he threw up Wakanda Forever when he ran for his first touchdown. So
yes.
I'll put this back in a second. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys for checking out Allied Rivals Podcast. I'm AJ Herschel, and you'll already know with Cademan Bauer. This is Cam Newton, and that's Dwayne Wade. We'll see you guys next time on the one and only Allied Rivals Podcast.